Hello everyone, Welchi here and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be talking about the upcoming PlayStation showcase which is happening next week. This was announced today as of recording to be happening on Wednesday the 24th of May 2023. Now this is going to be roughly 2 to 3 weeks earlier than the Summer Game Fest showcase which is happening from Jeff Keighley on the 8th of June, so I guess that's 2 weeks earlier. This was heavily rumoured. It was heavily rumoured that PlayStation were going to do this before Summer Game Fest and before Xbox's showcase. And here we are. This official PlayStation tweeted it out or put it on Instagram today. A week out, a week until the event. So the event will happen. I'm from the UK. The UK time it will be 9 p.m. Next Wednesday. I will be doing a live reaction video to that showcase. So look forward to that. I am super excited. We've not had a showcase from PlayStation. And when I say showcase, I mean the proper showcase since 2021, like September time. Is it September time, or was it even? It might have been a little bit later, maybe October, November. We didn't have one in 22, so it's been at least a year and a half since we had a proper PlayStation showcase. Before we go into what we're going to be talking about today, is what I expect to see, what I want to see, and what I don't think we'll see at this showcase. I'm going to kind of go through it, kind of developer by developer. Mainly focusing on the first party stuff, but then a little bit of third party stuff as well. And before we do that, just in case you didn't know, there have been plenty of state of plays since the last showcase, but state of plays are much smaller and they're sometimes focused on one game. Sometimes they're focused on multiple games, but it's just not their big, what they call a showcase. They have two different things. They call it state of play or a showcase. The reason to be excited about this is because the showcases are where they go big. It's where they show all of the good stuff. For example, the main two that showcases that people will think of, or two of the main ones, will be the ones leading up to the PS5 release. So it's where they showed off what it looked like, and then it showed off what the price tag was. It showed off the games to expect. So God of War Ragnarok was announced at one of these. Spider-Man Miles Morales was shown off. I'm trying to think of all the other games. There's so many. Horizon Forbidden West would have been announced there. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart would have been announced there. And then at the most recent one, so the one that happened in the end of 2021, is my personal favourite because it had so much stuff. I mean, it showed off God of War Ragnarok. It would have shown off more Horizon, but the big thing that happened in this one was they had Insomniac, who showed off that they were going to be doing Wolverine, and a huge announcement that I absolutely loved. That announcement trailer, incredible moment. And you assume that's Insomniac done, and they go, nope, Insomniac are back doing another game, Spider-Man 2, and I just lost my mind. And they just leave all their best stuff for these showcases, so I'm expecting big things. So we're going to go talk through that now. So first of all, we might as well start off where I just spoke about Insomniac. Insomniac have to be here. They have to be here because even PlayStation have announced that Spider-Man 2 is coming this year, and it's heavily rumoured to be September. And that's been leaked by the Venom actor, who's basically been the voice actor, who's been basically saying it's going to be releasing around September with a big marketing push in August. He's probably been told off for saying that, but he said it, and I believe it's probably true because it's come from someone very heavily directly linked with the game. So it has to be here. If Spider-Man 2 is not here next week at this showcase, then I'm not convinced the game is even real or coming out. I mean, it's obviously real, but if it's not there, it's not coming out this year. It just can't. They did this kind of thing with other games like God of War Ragnarok. We kept thinking it was coming out in 21, I think they first said, and then they just didn't show it, and then they're like, oh no, it's delayed. But I think we'll see. I'll be stunned if we do not see Spider-Man 2. I think we'll get a release date next week. So Sony are sometimes stupid, and then they won't show it in the trailer, but then they'll tweet it out afterwards. Either way, I think next week we should be getting a release date for Spider-Man 2 with some gameplay. That's going to be the interesting side. Obviously, the date is obviously very interesting, and I'm looking forward to it, but the gameplay is going to be interesting because there's a lot of speculation. Are we playing as both Peter and Miles? Is it gonna be a kind of it won't be like GTA where you switch between the three characters, but similar kind of thing. Can you switch between them in combat? Can you choose which one to be in a mission? Or is it going to be for this part of the game you're Peter, almost like a spoilers for if you have not played God of War Ragnarok, almost like God of War Ragnarok, like these missions will be Peter, then these missions will be Miles, these missions will be Peter, these missions might have both of you in it, that kind of thing. It'd be interesting to see which route they're going down. They might not even reveal that, they might still be willing to keep that a secret, but I think they will. But either way, they'll be showing us gameplay, I'm sure of it, especially if it's coming out this year. Maybe it's delayed to 24 and they'll just show us another trailer. But either way, we should be seeing more Spider-Man in some capacity next week. The next game, Wolverine from Insomniac. I'm not as confident on this one because I think they're going to be, especially Insomniac, will be solely focused on getting Spider-Man 2 out and getting that marketing started. Maybe they show a small trailer for Wolverine with a 24 date on it. I mean, if Spider-Man's delayed, then Wolverine is not coming out in 24. But if Spider-Man does come out in September, there is a chance Wolverine can come out next winter. So September, maybe onwards, 24. It seems bonkers, but Insomniac's record at the moment is insane. They've released Miles Morales, then Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart the next year. That was 21 that came out. So then 2 years later, they've got Spider-Man 2. So it's more likely at 25 will be Wolverine, a 2-year cadence, which is still, when you compare it to other developers out there, it's a very good cadence. And the quality of these games are coming out, and obviously Spider-Man 2 is not out yet, but is insane. So I think, if I had to say, I think we're going to see Wolverine, a small trailer, no gameplay. No, I think more of a story trailer, setting up what we can expect. And maybe some small parts of gameplay, but have more focused on kind of story and cutscenes and whatnot, with not a release date, but like a coming soon or 24, 25, whatever. I think people will pop for it, people will pop for it anyway, either way, as long as it looks good. Sure, it will. But I think if they put a 24 release date on it, it's going to be pretty big. So we'll see. There's also Insomniac. I've also got an unannounced multiplayer game. Is that in the Spider-Man universe? I don't know. No one knows. Will they announce it here? I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna show free games from Insomniac here. That would be bloody insane. If they have got a multiplayer game and it is nearly ready, then maybe they will. But I think it's going to be Marvel related, if I had to guess, or Ratchet related. I don't know. If I had to guess, it'd be Marvel related. It'd be great if they were the ones who were handed like a Super Smash Bros, whatever you call it, the fighting game on Nintendo, but a PlayStation version, like the Battle Royale game, PlayStation All Stars or whatever it was, back on the PS3. If they were doing something like that, or a kart racer, I don't know. I would love a PlayStation character centric game like that. Whether that's happening or not, I don't know. Next, Sony Santa Monica. Now, this is an interesting one because obviously they just released God of War Ragnarok in November. November. It's still very fresh. Amazing game. My game of the year, easily. Yeah, easily. And are they going to be here? I am going to say no, because I don't think they're going to do DLC for God of War. If they are doing DLC for God of War, I think they show off here. I personally don't think they are, and I think their next project will be either a new God of War in a new setting, so it won't be Norse mythology, maybe Egyptian, or maybe another mythology, or it'll be something completely new. And I just don't think we're going to be seeing anything to do with that next week. So if they're here, I would say it's going to be DLC for God of War, and I'll be buzzing for that because I'd any reason to play more Ragnarok. Got the platinum. I'll eat up any DLC that they announce. So I don't think they'll be there, but I wouldn't be overly surprised if they are there. But I will be if it's not DLC and it's something new. Next is the other big hitter. I call Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica the two, if you want to call them quadruple A developers. I'd put Insomniac just below them. But Naughty Dog next on the list. they should be here. I will be stunned if they're not. And they should be here showing off the Last of Us multiplayer game, Last of Us Factions, if they're going to call it that again. Last of Us 2 is now, what, that came out in 2020? Yeah, 2020. So that's over 3 years old now, or coming up to 3 years old. We need to see this multiplayer game, which has been in development for at least that long, if not even earlier than that. Because I feel like it might have been something that was in development to come out with Last of Us Part 2, and then they said, actually, no, let's take more time and make it a standalone. I mean, we've seen stuff. They spoke about it. They've shown us like concept art. It's time to show us the game. If Naughty Dog aren't here showing this, then I'm not going to say I've lost all hope, because there is Summer Game Fest coming up. They could be showed there. Sony has had a history with Jeff Keighley. I think it was either Gamescom or the last Summer Games Fest where they showed the concept art at Jeff Keighley's event. So there is a chance it's there, but I think it should be here at the showcase. And I think it will be. I have to say, I think it will be. And it'll be the first game of their push for live service. I think it'll be Last of Us Factions, or whatever they're going to call it. I'm very hopeful for this game. I'm very hopeful it's going to be great. Naughty Dog are an incredible developer, normally single player focused. But I did really enjoy the Uncharted multiplayer on both 2 and 4. I didn't really play 3 multiplayer, but they can do multiplayer. This seems a much bigger scale, so it'd be interesting to see how they do it. But I'm super excited for this one. I'll be over the moon if we see it, and I think we will. I'll be disappointed. This is one I'll be really disappointed, along with Spider-Man, if it's not here or if it doesn't show well. If Spider-Man's here, it will show well, I'm sure. But this one might not. But I'm going to say it's going to be there. It's going to look good. That's my prediction. Will we see Last of Us 3? I don't think so yet. Obviously, we had the TV show earlier in the year, which was fantastic. Last of Us is on an all-time high right now. It's becoming a household name, even away from gamers. I know people who don't play games, didn't even know it was a game, but they're talking about Last of Us, how good it is as a show. So it is a phenomenon at the moment, and they're going to capitalize on it. I think they're going to have to do Last of Us 3 now, and I just don't think it's yet. I just don't think we're going to see it yet. They may, this is a very wild guess, but they may do an initial tease, like a Wolverine tease. But I don't think so. I think that would come next year for the game to then come out in like 25 or 26. So I think it's too early for that. I think we'll just see Last of Us multiplayer next week from Naughty Dog. I don't think we'll see anything else from them. Next is Sucker Punch, who I put probably just below Insomniac in terms of PlayStation developers. Ghost of, I'm going to ruin this name. Every time I say this name, I say it wrong. Ghost of Tsushima, that's how I call it. 2, where is that? Is that coming? It's got to be coming. I'm 100% convinced they're doing a Ghost of Tsushima 2. And that came out just after Last of Us 2, but I just don't think that game, and maybe I'm wrong, I just don't think that game needs as much development time as Last of Us 3 would. Plus, we know they're doing Last of Us Factions, so I think Last of Us 3 probably didn't start as early as Ghost of Tsushima 2 will have done. Even though they did a DLC thing or whatever. I think we will see Ghost of Tsushima 2 here, but I think it will be, like I said, like a tease. It'll be Jin Sakai pulling a sword out of the ground, and that's it kind of thing. And then it'll say like Ghost of Tsushima 2 coming 2025, I think. I don't think we'll see in that 24. I'll be amazed if it's 24. I mean, it's a 4-year development cycle, so maybe. But I think they'll be safe and say, maybe they might not even put a date on it, but if they do, I think it'll be 25. But yeah, it'll be there, I think. I won't be stunned if it's not. It's not like we need it right now, but we're going to be getting to that point where we're thinking, where is Sucker Punch? What have they been doing all this time? I just remembered I forgot to put a developer on here. I will talk about them though. But yeah, I think we're going to see it. Yeah, I'm 90% sure we're going to see something Ghost 2 related. Sucker Punch also apparently have an unannounced multiplayer game. I imagine that's Ghost related as well. They had a pretty big success with the Ghost of Tsushima Legends add-on multiplayer thing that was on Ghost of Tsushima. I loved that as well, and I think they may be either doing that standalone, like the Last of Us Factions are doing. I don't think we're going to see the multiplayer thing. I think we're going to focus on a small tease for Ghost 2 from Sucker Punch. Before I was going to go on to Kojima next, but before we do that, just so I remember, Ben Studio did the studio behind Days Gone, which I haven't actually played yet, and it's on my list, and I need to play it. Obviously, there's been a lot of controversy about Days Gone. It's a beloved game by a lot of fans, but it didn't do well critically or sales-wise, for what PlayStation expect anyway. And it might have a high sales number now, but that's because of sales and stuff and whatever. So initially, it didn't sell well enough, and PlayStation have basically said we're not having a Days Gone 2, which has upset a lot of fans of the game, but it makes sense business-wise because it didn't do well the first time. Anyway, what are they doing? What are Ben Studio doing? There was rumours they were doing some sort of remake. Was it even The Last of Us Part 1? I can't remember. But I imagine they're doing a new AAA game now. What is that? Is it a new IP? Is it a well-established IP? Is it a Star Wars game? Is it a Marvel game? We don't know. I expect we will hear something from Ben because Days Gone came out even before that. Even before 2020, sorry. I think it was a 2019 game. It might have even been earlier. I'm going to say 2019. You know what? It could have been 18. It could have been 18. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, I think we're going to see something from Ben Studio. I have no idea what it's going to be, but I think they'll be there telling us what they've been up to. And that game, for all I know, could be coming out soon. But I don't know. I get the feeling there's been a bit of turbulence at this studio, and they're probably a year or so away from releasing their game. But I have no idea. I do think we'll see them though, and I do think we will see Kojima, and I think we'll see Death Stranding 2. I think that's a nailed-on bet. Although the only thing I would combat that against it is Kojima has a special relationship with Jeff Keighley, so maybe he'll wait for Summer Game Fest. I'm going to say we'll see it at both. I think we'll see it at a PlayStation Showcase, and we'll see it at Summer Game Fest because he won't want Jeff Keighley to miss out. But yeah, I think we're going to see Death Stranding 2 next week. I don't have much to say about this one because I didn't play the first one. It's on my list, but not massively high on it. But I will probably play it at some point. But yeah, Death Stranding 2, I think we'll see next week. And then move on to Bluepoint. Bluepoint, a relatively new studio for PlayStation in terms of owning them. Famous for their remakes of Shadow Colossus and obviously the recent Demon Souls. Apparently their new game is not a remake, and it's a new AAA game. I don't know if it's a new IP or an established IP that they're making a new game for or whatever. I think we're going to see Bluepoint. I mean, Demon Souls is 2020 now. I'm not saying the game's going to be close to coming out, but I think Bluepoint are fantastic developers, and I'm not fully convinced that it won't be a remake. I know they said it's a new IP, but there's something I don't know. I just feel like it might not be as new as they're leading it on, and it could be some sort of remake. Obviously, there's heavy rumors about a Metal Gear Solid remake. Could it be Bluepoint? Could it be just some other developer that I'm not as aware of? Who knows? But I think we'll see Bluepoint and what they've been up to for sure. Like, I am very certain we're going to see that. This one I'm not as sure on, and that's Bungie. Obviously, Bungie now are technically owned by PlayStation, but more as a publisher, and they can still publish on Xbox and whatnot. It's very complicated. I get confused about it, but I expect Bungie could be there, but it's not 100%. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a Destiny 3. I think if they're there, and if they're going to do something exclusive for PlayStation, then it'll be a new IP. I think if they're going to do a Destiny 3, they'd keep it everywhere. So there's a chance they're there, but if they are, I think it'd be a tease like Ghost of Tsushima 2. I don't think it's going to be anything concrete, like footage-wise or date-wise. I'm going to say we're not going to see Bungie this time. I think we'll see them if they do another showcase at the end of the year or this time next year. I think we're way away from Bungie showcasing anything. And now I'm going to move on to third party. I've probably forgot of some first parties, but there's going to be PSVR 2 stuff there, which I don't have a PSVR 2. I'm not as familiar with it. It would be cool to see Half-Life Alyx come to the system, but I don't think we're going to. But third party stuff, I'm going to say 99% sure we're going to see Mortal Kombat. as of recording, tomorrow Mortal Kombat are going to be announcing the new title for the game. It would not surprise me if it's just called Mortal Kombat. It looks like they're resetting the timeline or rebooting the first game, whatever you want to call it, but they're going back to Mortal Kombat 1 as such. So that'd be really cool. I think we're going to see that. PlayStation have got a big push for fighting games. They seem to have one of the games I think will be there is Street Fighter 6. That game's like imminent, like weeks away. So maybe we won't see. I think we will. I think they'll announce like another character or something at Street Fighter 6. And then there's Tekken 8. 8 or was it 9? It's 8, isn't it? The next one. Could be there as well, because Sony seem to be pushing hard for these fighting games. They want to be the place to play these games. So there's a chance all three of them are there. Maybe they wouldn't want to compete against each other, so there's a chance it's just one or two of them. Either way, they're going to be coming up between now and the Xbox showcase in one of these showcases. I think Mortal Kombat will be next week, and maybe Street Fighter 6, and maybe Tekken will be Summer Games Fest. Let's put it that way. It could be a whole mix of that. I also think we're going to see Final Fantasy 16. That's weeks away, if not a month away as well, or a month or two. I think we'll see some kind of final push from... They did a State of Play a couple of weeks ago, so I think we'll see like one last trailer for that there. And I think we'll also see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, more footage of that, which would be massive for the fans. Again, I'm not a massive Final Fantasy man. Actually, I've never played them, to be honest. But they're, again, on my list. And I definitely want to play Final Fantasy VII before the Rebirth one comes out. But I also want to play Final Fantasy 16 when that comes out, because it's sounding like a fantastic game. But anyway, I think we're going to see them. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. That was delayed, if I remember rightly. What's happening with that? I think we'll get an update on it. A new trailer, probably a ways away yet, date-wise, but I think we're going to see Star Wars. I think that'll be a big moment for them. Like, hey, don't forget us. We're still coming. Be excited. Show us a really cool trailer or whatever. Maybe gameplay. I doubt it, but another game I think could be there, or Capcom, a developer. I think we could potentially see Resident Evil. They normally do come up in the Sony showcases. Resident Evil 4 was announced at a showcase, or maybe a State of Play actually. But either way, they've had that relationship with PlayStation. And right now, with Resident Evil, you normally know what's coming next. And I feel like the 4 remake come out in March or February, and now we don't know what's next. And there's normally always something on the horizon with Resident Evil, and I think maybe we're about to get that next announcement, which I think will be Resident Evil 9. Village was 8, yeah. So the sequel to Village and the end of that mini trilogy of games. The trilogy of games. Because I think the last one came out in 2021. Yeah, it did. So it sounds about right that it'd come out in 2024. So I think we're going to get an announcement from Resident Evil at this showcase. And another few I'm going to chuck out there. I want to end the video soon, but I think we might see Silent Hill in maybe more than one capacity. They've got remakes coming out. They've got a new game coming out. I think we'll see them here. Will they want to go up against Resident Evil in the same showcase? I don't know if they actually even think like that. I think they're more worried about coming out at the same date and stuff, but maybe one will come at Game Fest, one will come at PlayStation Showcase. Obviously, some of these could pop up at the Xbox one. I'm just not as confident on Xbox right now. And I think Xbox will probably focus on their own stuff. But anyway, that's for a different video. Resident Evil and Silent Hill, and then Metal Gear Solid. If it's not Blue Point, who's doing it? It's so heavily rumoured, it must be true. I think we might see that as well. So there's a lot to look forward to, and I'm probably forgetting a lot of stuff. I was going to say the new FIFA or EA Sports FC, but I'm pretty sure they said they're not coming out, like not saying anything until July. So maybe we won't get that. But what EA got? Have they got anything? They've just released Jedi Survivor. Maybe they're there in some capacity. Fortnite will probably be there. Fortnite always at the Sony stuff. But yeah, I think I've covered all the main things. I mean, what I had watched showcases for is for PlayStation's exclusive stuff. The third-party stuff is great, but I'm there mainly for these big Sony. We all know what Sony do. The God of Wars, the Spider-Mans, the Uncharted, the Ghost of Tsushima, the Horizons. Oh, I didn't mention Guerrilla. I don't think Guerrilla are going to be there because Horizon came out last year. They just released the DLC. I'm not expecting them to be there at all. Yeah, it's just way too soon. If they're there, it'll be a multiplayer game, which could happen. I don't think so. But if they're there, it will be a Monster Hunter inspired Horizon game. That's my prediction. But I don't think we're going to see Guerrilla there. Am I missing any others? I think I've hit most of the big ones. Ubisoft could be there. I think they'll do their own event, their Ubisoft Forward event, so I'm not really expecting them to be there. But there's a chance. Maybe they'll show Avatar off, or the new Assassin's Creed. I think they'll leave that for themselves. So I'm going to say no to Ubisoft. I'm probably going to say no to EA being there. So I think it's going to mainly be first party stuff. They'll be probably a bit too long on VR, but it won't matter because the first party big exclusive Spider-Man 2 is going to be massive. Wolverine might be there. Last of Us multiplayer is going to be massive. Ghost 2 teaser. Death Stranding 2. Whatever the Blue Point game is. Do we get something from Sony Santa Monica? It's going to be amazing. I mean, the Gran Turismo team, they shouldn't be there. They only released last year. But anyway, I spoke too long. They're my predictions. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think we'll see next week. What you want to see and what you think we'll see. I think mine is a mixture of both there. I've kind of set my expectations. I'd love to see everything there. But I've kind of said we might see this, not this, whatever. But yeah, let me know what you guys think we'll see. As I said, I will be recording a live reaction to that showcase next week. It's about an hour long, apparently. So I will probably upload the full thing, but then also upload any of the big announcements separately. For example, if they announce, let's just say, a Doctor Strange game, I don't know, something like that, or a new Star Wars game, or a new Batman. Oh, no, Rocksteady are busy. A new Batman game, or something like that, or Superman game. Could Warner Brothers be there? Anyway. And it's like get a massive pop, a massive reaction. They'll be uploaded separately on TikTok as well and whatnot. But I'll be uploading that next week. As I said, let me know in the comments, guys, what you think will be there, what you're excited for. Do you think I'm right on any of my predictions or completely off? Leave a like if you enjoyed this, if you want to see more of this stuff. And yeah, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time.